course you would mention the expense of the materials, you material girl. Look. So that was Joker. However, we know since she's taking drugs, she saw Joker as Sergey. Oh God, I want to do terrible things to this ginger. She's just excited. She's just excited, but she's pretending to be an actor in a play, playing up the massacre in front of the guy that's just lost his entire family. The old janitor of the circus told me that if my parents hadn't passed away, and Bernard hadn't taken over the circus, then growing up under their care would have made me the star acrobat instead. Smiley Face trades his own humiliation or his companions for the spectator's joy. This inspires that innermost dark part of his soul. Okay. Yovi, you're being manipulated. Yovi, she is well aware that he is a serial killer at this point. Oh, I fucking called it, chat. I called this will be how Mike does it. Oh, yeah, because of his Arthur Russell? Because of Arthur Russell? Oh, it's all connected. Oh, God. You can't do this, IDV. Natisse, you can't make it all happy and bright after he's fucking dead. This isn't fair. Closing night. Who can actually believe we got something like this? Still feels like a fever dream. A generous event with emotes and skins, but the real kicker? Fully animated and voice-acted story. To many, this may not seem like that big of a deal, but to the resident lore nut of IDV, this whole thing has been a treasure trove. Skin is moisturized and my crops are flourishing and... But where are my manners? Hello, my name's CalicoTea. Before the closing night event, I spent hours of my life gathering all available information from the limited sources in order to tell the story of the Hullabaloo Circus. So those who may not be into the lore can step in and understand the basics of Hullabaloo without much speculation, and only referring to the primary sources, i.e. Natisse. However, of course, this has quickly become outdated as much as the information we had has been slightly altered or told in various ways throughout closing night. I streamed the whole event with my chat on Twitch, and you can watch my original reactions video here on the old YouTube playlist. Now, after that was when I set to work. I went through closing night several more times, top to bottom, and I'm not joking when I say frame by frame. Anything in that scene transition? That's so creepy! Joker knows he's being filmed. Wait, is this... I'm taking apart the story in every way I can. Like a discount Sherlock Holmes, I have spent hours looking into each detail and overanalyzing as much as I could, both on and off stream, to bring you all a deep dive into closing night. So hopefully you can join me in my chat and the brain rot nonsense I can yap for hours on end for. So, without much further delay, my dear detectives, let's all watch a Hullabaloo. Scene 1, The Coming Storm. 01, Invitation. On the night of a howling blizzard, Mike Morton pushed open the gates to the infamous manor. Ta-da! The scene opens to a frostbitten Olatus Manor. The acrobat Mike Morton, adopted son of the deceased circus master Bernard Morton Jr., opens the door in a rather eccentric way. Mike received a letter, you see. After the massacre of his family and the arson of his home, he sought only the capture of the one who killed all he loved. Using his funds, he hired an investigator, Arthur Russell. At the same time, he looked at the lifeless bodies of his co-workers and cross-referenced them with the schedule for the performances that night. One pair stood out. A new couple, the female dancer Natalie Zell and the star smiling clown Sergey, were missing from the morgue despite being last on the schedule for that night. Clearly, they had something to do with the massacre. However, Mr. Russell gave a key piece of information, one that would change the course of their investigation. However, before more can be said, the dreaded letter with the red wax seal arrived, a picture of a brown-haired woman with the caption, Natalie. On the table lies a gramophone and a set of 4 keys, each elaborately designed with a keychain. Those of you who are more aware of the characters within Hullabaloo might have already guessed which key belongs to who by the small details, but let's really dive into this. The keys are labelled first with the bedroom's location in the manor. 1F02 refers to the first floor, room 2, which is slightly inconsistent with the known lore of IDV. So far, as a community, we've been able to ascertain that Olatus Manor is located somewhere near Scotland or Northern England. The Hullabaloo cast themselves, as far as we know, are also British. In England, we refer to the floor and street level as the ground floor. The first floor would technically be second in this scenario. Perhaps GF02 didn't sound as good. This key, 1F02, refers to the room at the end of the dining room. Attached is a dachshund with a small crown. This key is a play on Morrow, or Wildling's character. Morrow, you see, was the biological son of the original circus master, Bernard Morton Jr.'s brother. After his parents' death, Morrow was abused by Bernard and treated like a wild animal in order for him to become a circus attraction, a wild child, much like Caspar Hauser. Technically speaking, he's the legal heir to the circus, the prince, if you will. He's even referred to as such in his letters. The dog figure, on the other hand, can only be a cruel joke from the Baron. Morrow has no real sense of self, his entire being based on the man he was abused by, simply a dog following his master's orders. The second key, 2F02, has a corroded jester mask. Clearly, this is Joker, or Weeping Clowns. The corrosion a mockery of his acid burns from when Sergei, the smiling clown, put highly potent acid in his white stage paint in a fit of jealous rage, burning a large portion of Joker's face. Now, the jester mask is more interesting here. Joker was a clown that played the role of a jester using his deformities for laughs at the circus. Clearly, a cruel jab at who is really under the smiling makeup. The third key, 2F04, has a perfectly round marble or crystal ball wrapped in an old-school fishing rope. Nothing more clearly represents female dancer or Natalie. Not only is the crystal ball seen in her hands on the end screen in-game, but she herself is a crystal ball in this meaning, a pretty perfect little thing trapped in an ugly, dated fishing village, a pretty fish trapped in a net. The fourth and final key, 2F03, is none other than acrobats or mics. A bright red juggling ball. Whilst there's not much we can say in terms of symbolism for this one, as it's permanently attached to Mike's character to have these juggling balls, I do want to mention something. The red juggling ball contains gunpowder. Keep that in mind for later. There's even more fun to have with these keys, as the design themselves are that of a suit of cards. Heart, spade, club, and diamond. Now, over-elaborate keys are nothing new for survival horror, but I do want to overanalyze here, so here's some food for thought. You see, each card type can have its own symbolic meaning and represent the 4 classes of medieval society. Hearts represent the clergy, emotions, love, compassion, strong relationships. Spade represents nobility or warriors, symbolizing wisdom, strength, and the challenges required to overcome life. Clubs are tied to the peasantry, but also innovation, knowledge, creativity, growth, and fertility. Diamonds represent the merchant class, material wealth, prosperity, and the enjoyment of luxuries. Given the Baron owner's love for classical arts, subtle symbolism, and jabs at the manor contestants, it's honestly not far-fetched to say these keys match the intended recipients almost too perfectly. Mora's love, his compassion for others and need to protect them, his strong relationship with his brother. Natalie's desire to be more what she was born as, using whatever she can to overcome and thrive. Joker's lowly birth, but rise to fame using whatever he could and growing from it, albeit in a crooked way. Finally, Mike thrived at the circus. His life compared to the others was in a sense luxurious due to this, and his attachment to his possessions is very much on display. After all, he carries the memories of the circus quite literally on his back. Of course, this is just a random tangent, but it's so interesting how well a lot of this all fits in. Just goes to show how much it pays off to look at the silly little details. Also, it brings into question what about the unused doors. There are only 4 card suits, all used perfectly here, but that isn't including the missing key from Violetta, of course, if she does have a room. Overall, there are 7 rooms. 1F01, 1F03, and 2F01 are unused as far as we know in closing night. Wonder what their keys could be.
Who's there?
It's me. Violetta. It's been a while, Mr. Morton.
Violetta refers to Mike as Mr. Morton, and it's not that surprising. Violetta was brought into the circus by Bernard Morton Jr. As such, not only would Mike be her senior performer, but also the son of her boss. It's common courtesy. However, it's interesting to note that not only does Mike ask for a more familiar and impolite address, simply his first name, but also he's not at all shocked by her. Though he seems confused at her being in the manor in the first place, given why he's here and all, he showed no outward fear at her sudden appearance, unlike Natalie later on.
Violetta, what are you doing here?
I'm flattered that the host would invite me. I'm honored to be a part of the performance.
Performance?
Yes, that's right. The host left us a playbill.
A playbill is a small advertisement for a performance, not so much the script. It typically just contains the performance name and its actors. Isn't it strange that they've been given something meant for the general public to promote a play with no real script? Even their names aren't attached to the characters they should be playing. Aren't they?
Perhaps we can prepare together.
5 children go to the park. They arrive excited, but leave with long faces.
Circus forest, where all the shadows hide. 5 children entered with glee in their eyes. Roller coasters, it's just for one has to say bye. Evil seeps in like a terror. They're all about to cry. One draws his weapon. He's so dying to play. The second looked away, puts his fear at bay. The third one says we're family, we'll find a better way. The fourth child wants justice, someone has to pay. The last one passed out while they were making a roll. That must be the curse, son, taking a heavy toll.
So, in fact, his playbill does tell us who's who. Not just that, also what's going to happen. This might be a little confusing if you haven't watched my original video. A lot of the pre-manor lore is much the same, which brings me into the topic of the Manor Baron. Just from this opening scene, you can tell he knows more about the personal lives and ambitions of the cast than any person legally should. Not only just who they are as people, but also how they would react given outside influence. The playbill does work as intended. The cast are both the audience and the actors. Let me explain. Each child represents a member of the circus. This was mentioned in Joker's 2023 birthday letter, though it was worded differently at the time. However, the participants themselves do not know that the Baron owner has already set up the game to go exactly how he envisions. The playbill depicts events, for the most part, albeit with leniency, or at least it should. 5 passes out, 1 draws his weapon, and so on and so forth. The Baron owner is not only mocking the group, but built a play of their lives for his amusement, where they are both the actors and the audience without either their knowledge or consent, exerting a sadistic type of benevolence above them without being physically involved in the outcome. It's quite disturbing when you truly think about it. Kind of like Saw, in a way.
This is really interesting, Violetta. But you see, it's already very late.
Of course. Tomorrow, perhaps?
Violetta, this play needs at least 5 actors.
They will come. Someone will come.
Why don't we wait until everyone is here? I plan on taking a look around this house tomorrow. After all, we've never lived in such a huge mansion before now, have we?
That's true. But Mr. Morton,
It's Mike. You can call me Mike. If you're not interested in taking the tour, why not pick a role and practice first? The last child would suit you well.
All right, of course. There is a role I like.
That's great, Violetta. Good night. It was good to see you.
Mr. Morton? Good night, Mr. Morton. I mean, Mike.
There's a quick passing comment here that I want to leave in your minds for later. We know that Mike Morton is here to look for his family's killer. Despite wanting to keep Violetta content with excuses, he's only here to search. However, isn't that last comment interesting? Violetta is the fifth child. Scene 1, The Coming Storm. O2. Margaretha Zell believed that all dust of the past had settled after that bloody night, until she realized she wasn't the only visitor tonight.
Excuse me, is anyone here?
Natalie wears a mink fur coat. This was mentioned in her 2025 birthday letter as well as her birthday portrait. It is a symbolic hope for her new beginnings, just like how her hairpin found a new life. Now it's her turn.
A keychain. With a key and a tag that reads 1F02. And a wooden dog pendant with a crown. This probably wasn't prepared for me. I think this is for me.
It's me, Natalie. It's Violetta.
Oh, you... it's you. You scared me,
Unlike Mike earlier, Violetta's sudden appearance seems to startle Natalie, and honestly, same. What was she doing back there in the corner so late at night? Bearing in mind, there's nothing back here that normal visitors would be aware of. The statue has a secret passage to the Hallway of Muses, but how and why would Violetta know about that? Was she just sleeping in the corner of the entryway? More importantly, the key to 2F02 is now missing. Joker has arrived at the manor.
Violetta! The actress! Violetta!
Were you also invited to perform, Violetta?
Yes, I was also invited to act in the play.
They want to ride the roller coaster, but there are only 4 seats. Is this for the play the host wishes us to perform?
Yes, I was just getting familiar with the parts.
Huh. This looks like just a folk rhyme. If it's to become a real play, we'll need to adapt it.
All right. Oh, it's such an honor, Natalie. I'm so happy.
Not arrived yet?
Yes, there's still one person left. Everyone else is here.
Everyone else?
What did you say, Natalie?
It's nothing. Just making a mental note. Let me think about how we can arrange all this. Good night, Violetta. By the way, Violetta, I'm now called Margaretha. If you wouldn't mind.
All right, Margaretha. Good night. Margaretha. Such a beautiful name. As beautiful as Natalie.
In the quiet of the night, the two women make their separate ways, but not before Natalie turns to mention.
I'm now called Margaretha.
Scene 1, The Coming Storm. O3, Perfume. 3 bottles of differently scented perfume stir disturbing memories in Margaretha Zell's mind.
A dressing mirror made of mahogany. The material doesn't seem as fine as the other furniture in this manor.
The perfume bottles have the abbreviation VN, Vera Noir. It's currently believed that Vera Noir was a participant in Game 5, though we cannot say for certain the time frame between Game 5 and Game 8. We know that Vera didn't survive. The first perfume bottle with a light grey puff bulb contains the scent of Lily of the Valley. The pink perfume contains the scent of trees roasting in the sun. The final, yellow-coloured perfume has a distasteful damp smell. Though she tests each one, she decides the pink perfume is her preferred, and proceeds to coat herself in the lovely scent.
This is quite nice. I like this scent. Perhaps it will help me sleep well.
Natalie. Natalie. Natalie.
Natalie. Natalie.
I finally found you, Natalie. Natalie! Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you.
Get away from me, you demon! Stay away!
Margaretha. Don't be afraid. I will not hurt you.
Now, a lot happened in the previous scene, and I didn't want to discuss it until we both saw the whole outcome. Let's take what we know from the sources in and outside of closing night. These perfumes are clearly the same drugs that we have seen both Alice and Detective Orpheus discover and test in previous stories. Both times the drugs have shown that they affect the user from ingestion and inhalement. Simply wafting the fumes from the bottle causes instant and intense reactions from both Alice and Orpheus, despite their differences in age and weights. It's not all that hard to assume that in order to keep themselves out of the picture, the Baron installed these perfumes as a means to test the drugs without being hands-on, banking on Margaretha's vanity, though of course there's no way to really know how much the participant is taking, or which one for that matter, as don't forget, there are 4 major drugs used. Orpheus. The label of Orpheus's lyre induces a sleep-like state. Overdosing can result in a coma. Siren's song. The label of 3 spiral tentacles. A psychedelic inducing sleeplessness with auditory and visual hallucinations. Diagnosis. The label of a circle with a dot in the center. Causes memory loss, though how much cannot be determined. Finally, the Hydra. A label of 9 sprawling tentacles which can be used to unlock memories that have been forgotten, or those caused by Dionysus. It's highly unlikely that Hydra will be used, as it seems to be more of a restorative drug than one that the Baron owner is testing on the participants, but which ones are used by Margaretha? There are 3 perfume bottles, each with their own unique scent, so I think we can freely assume that each drug is either Orpheus, Siren's Song, or Dionysus. Sadly, right now there's no way for us to really tell, as Margaretha just kinda hard-gunned down all 3 of them. Given her symptoms afterwards, I wouldn't be surprised if she did suffer from all 3 side effects. She's very clearly hallucinating. Joker isn't Sergei after all. The panic is also very consistent with the instant paranoia that we see with Siren's Song. The very odd way she swayed and fell onto the bed seems haze-like, and it's very clear that this isn't just exhaustion, this is Orpheus. I cannot be sure if Margaretha is under the effects of Dionysus. After all, there is a large time gap between her falling on the floor and morning. We don't really know if she forgot anything at all. It is clear, however, that she takes a liking to the pink perfume, so we should be able to tell by her actions going forward as to which drug this is.
What is Sergei doing here? No, of course he's here. None of us can escape. No, stop thinking about it, Natalie. What happened to me yesterday? I must have gone mad. Sergei will kill me. No, Natalie, just appease Sergei one more time. He might go mad. But he also might forgive me. Like before. He still loves you, doesn't he? You also. No, Margarita. You will complete this performance, get your pay, and then run away. You're already quite adept at that, aren't you?
Morning arrives and Margarita is clearly shaken over the events of last night. As such, she immediately goes to apply more perfume. I'm unsure at this time whether or not this is simply self-soothing or perhaps there's an addictive quality to the drugs. We haven't seen that so far with the other applications of the drug, however. Now, I'm not a professional. As such, I do not feel comfortable labeling this behavior. Even if Margarita is fictional, it does not mean that others cannot relate, and I don't want to cause harm to anyone by misdiagnosing a character. This sequence, however, does tell us a very interesting detail. If you haven't watched my original Hullabaloo video, I recommend it, but to make a long story short without spoiling anything, the current estimate by police is that Sergei, Margarita's abusive husband, is alive. Margarita is attempting to build a new life for herself away from him, but the mere thought of him still being out there is enough for her to return to the mindset of pleasing him, to limit the aggression towards her. Now, the term before here makes me think of a few instances. We have the instance where the abuse was bad enough that she sought the protection and comfort of Joker, though I'm inclined to believe this might be referencing the aftermath of this event. Without spoiling too much, I have reason to believe that the Weeping Clown's released comic that was outsourced might actually be canon after all, meaning that after Margarita ended up confessing about the abuse to the clown, he confronted Sergei. To which Margarita defended her husband, eventually leading to Joker getting beaten by the clown. It seems as if this defense mechanism she has towards Sergei is simply to placate and hope for the best, despite the consequences to herself and those around her. Though this tune is quickly changed. A deeper voice, more assertive, comes out as she looks at herself in the mirror. She's good at running away. She had drugged her family to leave Lakeside Village. She left the circus after the massacre. She'll simply leave here much the same. Scene 2, Shadows of Yesterday, 01, Reunion. Reuniting with those involved after the disaster does not always bring joy. Acrobat enters the entranceway, one hand once again containing a juggling ball, which just so happens to be the red one. Clearly, he's been exploring this place. To what degree, we cannot be certain, but I want to note that he finds it more interesting than he imagined, end quote. What could it mean in the context of his reason behind being at the manor in the first place? A hidden meaning, or just a young man happy to explore a large house?
See? I told you most people might miss this performance, but not our superstar Natalie. Oh no, it's Margarita now, isn't it? Running off again, Natalie?
That's all over now, Morton. Move on like the rest of us. Stop clinging to the past.
No. It won't ever end, you shameful liars. Deserters! You murderers!
old man.
Now, remember that Mike here believes that Margaretha was directly involved in the murders of the Hullabaloo Circus, his family. Though he's not afraid to poke and prod at her verbally, clearly not worried that she herself was the murderer, maybe more of an accomplice. Margaretha exclaims that it's in the past and he needs to move on, which is interesting in two ways. It's hypocritical in a sense. She herself has not moved on from Hullabaloo, still believing that Sergei is just around the corner, that despite telling herself she's good at running away in previous scenes, she seems angered at Mike for calling out such behaviour. But the line in the past could imply that these events take place quite some time after the massacre. We don't know how long it's truly been, and we'll discuss this towards the end of the scene when more information becomes available. Liars, deserters, and murderers is a phrase that Mike will repeat throughout closing night. As such, we'll discuss what it truly means at the end. Margaretha leaves the conversation not before calling Mike a madman. Now, around this time, the term madman was used to describe someone who was very mentally ill. The mental health awareness that we have to this day has taken leaps and bounds in understanding, but back then, this was still very frowned upon. For example, most who were considered autistic were simply thrown into mental asylums and locked to radiators even. Basically, it's a derogatory term, considered nowadays an offensive way to describe someone with a reckless abandon for life or mental illness.
Same as ever, Joker. Always lurking in the shadows. Cuffs with traces of wood shavings.
Remember, that Joker, after the acid burn attack, was simply employed as a woodcutter to the circus. The shavings imply he's still working in carpentry, and perhaps has his tools with him.
A worn brown vest showing some scuff marks. Tattered hat. A tiny daisy, wilting.
Funny note here, but Acrobat came through the same door, yet apparently didn't bump into Joker. We know that the left side of the manor has many connected rooms, but it's still funny to think that some Scooby-Doo door shenanigans were happening as they just simply didn't find each other.
You shouldn't speak to her like that. She doesn't deserve it.
Oh? What then? A charlatan? A deserter? Or perhaps...
She's none of those!
Charlatan is a formal term for someone who is pretentious and deceptive, pretending to possess knowledge or skills that they don't actually have. Mike is basically saying she's a fraud. Now, he calls her a deserter again, but not before being interrupted before the last point.
And what of you?
I was sent out by Sergei that day for procurement. You know, it was a significant day, and my presence was not needed there.
I'm frozen to the bone. This stupid weather.
Joker is very much lying in this line. He is the murderer. At very least, it's believable due to being demoted after the attack. It wouldn't be out of the question that he would run errands for the more popular members of the circus. However, before Mike could question this, a certain man walks through the door.
Covered in snow and mud. An old-fashioned suit that doesn't quite fit. A long, untrimmed beard. Tangled hair with snowflakes and fallen leaves caught within. Moreau? Good heavens! It's splendid to see you again!
Mike! I'm happy to see you too! Did you also receive an invitation?
Sort of. Is the snow heavy outside?
It's not good, I'm afraid. We best stay here until the snow eases up.
That might be problematic. I've just checked the kitchen, and there isn't much food in there.
It takes Mike a second to recognize his older brother, but the way his face lights up is telling. The love and affection come back in a second and they embrace, which you have to remember, this is a very informal way of greeting for men in the time, around 1800 to 1900. Often such hugs were for very close family, or a greeting after a long absence, and given that Mike took a second to recognize the man, it might have been a while since the two had last seen each other. Could it be that Mike and Morrow haven't had contact since Morrow's escape from the circus? Especially since we know that Mike at some point had asked Mr. Russell to locate his brother. Now, Morrow mentions that the snowfall is likely to turn dangerous, essentially locking them in the manor, to which Joker chimes in.
That might be problematic. I've just checked the kitchen, and there isn't much food in there.
This has terrible connotations. We have not seen any staff on duty, unlike in Ashes of Memory. There is no help, no contact with the outside world, quite literally trapped alone under the whims of an unseen manipulator. Furthermore, the lack of food is a grim reminder of how this story was always meant to end. Their time here is short.
Sir? Oh no, Joker. I barely recognize you. It's been so long.
It has been a while, Morrow.
Morrow confuses Joker for Sergei, if not very briefly. It seems as if Acrobat was the only one to instantly recognize the clown. Again, mentioning how long it has been since he last saw the man. Did Joker maybe gain some weight after the event, becoming more like Sergei in body as well as mind? Not, of course, excluding his makeup, the one used to cover his scar, is that of a smiling clown.
Don't fret. We've been reunited here. And that's good fortune enough.
Despite showing outwards hostility towards Margaretha, Mike does seem generally happy to be around the people he grew up with again, even if this moment is brief.
Well, how's everyone?
It's nearly lunchtime. I shall prepare something in the kitchen.
Huh? Mike? What's happened? Did I say something wrong? I've been away for a while.
Moon River Massacre! That's what they called that day. A lunatic slaughtered everyone! Everyone! Did I frighten you, Merle? I was frightened too. Does that not prove my performance was utterly convincing? Just like the actors in the theater. I've watched their rehearsals, you know. The one playing the madman in a black robe, he was so...
Enough, Violetta!
All right. I'll say no more. I'll leave now. It's too dreadful. That madman. Too dreadful. Mike.
I'm sorry, Violetta. Mike is just a little unsettled. I hope you're not frightened. Maybe you could see if Joker needs help. It's nearly lunchtime, and it's warmer inside than out here. I'm sorry, Mike. I didn't know.
It's alright. I'm fine, Moreau. You should go check as well. After all, it's likely no one here knows how to survive in such harsh conditions better than you.
The tension is high here, so let's break down some key points. Morrow had no idea there was ever a massacre. He left some time before with the help of Mike. That much we know. He might have moved into the woods with his boards, though this is speculation, of course. But we do know now that the news never reached him. Furthermore, Violetta here is clearly acting out a theatre rehearsal she has seen. Just before the massacre, she was asked to leave to cool her head by Bernard, unknowingly sparing her from the murderer. But she took this in a very strange way. Quote, "If everyone in Hullabaloo is dead, then who is left to prove that I was once a performer?" End quote. Violetta has a clear problem reading social cues and is very disconnected from the lives around her, to the point her actions here can be considered very cruel. She's acting out a play based around the murders of Mike's family, his livelihood, clearly a very high point of trauma for the man, clapping and rejoicing in how well the performers mimic the wailing cries of the witnesses. Mike shouting at Violetta here is an understandable outburst. Though she's happy to be acting, she showed little to no respect or understanding that the loss of life would have on the surviving victim. In fact, she shows no remorse at all, both here in closing night and in her birthday letters. Her reaction to the shouting was quick. Cowering and muttering seems like a trauma response in itself, a placating action, if you will, towards an aggressor, though it's unknown whether or not she even understands the reason as to why she was yelled at in the first place. Mara goes to placate the situation. placing a comforting hand on Mike's shoulder, then going to Violetta and leading her out of the room before more damage can be done. No, not really sure how to take this side of Morrow, and let me explain. He's very much a people pleaser, always wanting the best outcome that doesn't include aggression, it seems, but this type of personality can be both good and bad. In one way, his ability to quickly read the room and provide emotional support can be commendable, but in the same shoe, it can also be quite toxic. Not only do we know that Morrow has self-worth and image issues, this is most likely just an attempt to pacify the situation rather than help resolve the issues that started it in the first place. Which is fine, but he might also be unwittingly downplaying the issues that started the argument in the first place. Through this one scene, we know so much more. It has been a long time since the massacre. Morrow, Mike's older brother, had no idea. It's been a while since any of the cast had last seen each other, and as such, we know one part of Mike's issues with the other. His family murdered or gone, the ramifications of the massacre he dealt with completely alone, and bear in mind, he's around 22 here. As such, still entering adulthood. We know he spent a vast majority of his funds for proper burials for all 16 victims, which he even identified himself. Now we know that enough time has passed that plays have been made at the event, despite the locals never wanting to talk about it. It must have been years. All alone. Deserters. Scene 2. Shadows of Yesterday. O2. Polka. A familiar melody plunges Margaretha Zell back into the shadows of her past.
What's that sound?
The snow has picked up outside, and the noise of the obvious WWE match happening downstairs
Both of them, Samir and Sunil. Oh my God! Turned inside out by Orton.
has disrupted Margaretha of her writing the lyrics to Kerr's son?
These people are as crude and noisy as ever.
Stop. Did you see that? Not only did we just get some sort of confirmation that these drugs are at least in part addictive to make the manor guest reliant on their effect, but underneath the pink bulbed perfume, we see a symbol we all recognize. Siren's Song. The symbol of 3 sprawling tentacles causing auditory and visual hallucinations and a degree of insomnia. The Manor Baron had set this up. The Baron has placed perfumes on a custom wooden shelf where they alone would be able to identify which drug was used by what seems to others as a small decoration. Not only does this immediately calm Margaretha, but here's the thing. This makes no sense. Hear me out. We know, again, from outside sources that a select few members of each game are tested on these drugs. Yet again, there are no staff, no signs of the owner, yet life-changing drugs are freely placed inside the participants' rooms. What if she never took it? What if she overdoses? How does the Baron owner not only document the exact events, but also make sure the intended victims take the drugs in recommended amounts? If that even is a worry at all. This is one of the few segments where we're allowed to explore. As such, I have taken my time with each of these to see if I can find any vague, interesting things around the manor, such as hidden secrets or things added specifically for this part, and nada. There's nothing. Sadly, the manor is more or less the same as every other time we've been in here, such as the original detective storyline and Ashes of Memory. The plates are in the same position, there's Geisha's mask in the cupboard, and time never moves. We know it's sometime around lunch, yet it shows past 5, so we know it's incorrect even in the context of the story. The only difference between these stories is the weather. Snow comes down rather heavily outside. However, we can note, as this is the first time we've seen this corridor, I believe, that the other bedrooms belonging to Acrobat and Weeping Clan respectively. Though there is an unused room at the back, 2F01. Real question I have for you is, where is Violetta sleeping? Put this in your head for now, as we'll be coming back to this topic for a rant I have coming up.
that tune?
Come now, Natalie. Dance for me. For us, to our favorite piece of music.
Oh, Sergey, you're still so wonderful.
Violetta, what did you just call him?
Sergey?
Sergey. Joker.
It's me, Joker.
Don't come any closer!
What's wrong?
Are you alright, Natalie? Relax, Natalie. Sergey isn't here. Violetta was mistaken. She's just not very familiar with them both.
Okay, let's start with the most obvious part here. We have clear confirmation that Margaretha is taking Siren Song, aka the auditory and visual hallucinogenic drug. The images that we see here of Soulweaver and Sergey are part of the hallucinations, which is a fact, but why are the both of them? Given the information we have now that Joker is in some way, shape or form looking more like Sergey, makeup included, it's easy to presume that's where her innate fear of him stands from, at least in this scene. Violetta, however, is never shown to be outwardly aggressive, so why is she in her hunter form here? Well, honestly, it's because of her looks. She's a spider-like being crawling on the floor, and yes, despite knowing Violetta is of no harm, the visual appearance combined with the fact that Margaretha is under the influence of extremely potent and fast-acting drugs, I don't think it's far-fetched to believe that in the moment where she's already scared over Sergey, it too would push her to be overly scared of everyone else in the room. Now, here's the interesting part. This is not the first time we've heard of this scene. Taking a step back to Joker's 2021 birthday letter, over 4 years ago, damn, we read about this scene, played out once again from Margaretha's perspective, though it's very different at the time. Of course, it has been years since the story began, so there will be discrepancies, however, the tone is almost 100% different. The references to Margaretha's panic is non-existent, as well as her connection to Joker. Through recent information, it does seem like they rewrit the relationship between the two to have somewhat closer connection, as she does recognize Joker here, and in the 2025 birthday letter has more interactions with him, unlike in this original letter in which she simply refers to him as the, quote, silent woodcutter. I'm definitely going to be talking about more changes to the story later, after we've covered everything. Another part is the direction of the entire scene. She sees Joker as Sergey dancing the clown polka, which, fun fact, is a sped-up instrumental version of the Cursun. Now you know. Only for the music and hallucination to stop as Violetta calls Joker Sergey, to which Mike calls her out for. Once again, looking back into the 2021 letter, it plays out differently. Margaretha realizes here that it isn't Sergey due to the man never liking dancing, or the simple things in life. Also commenting on the way he lands on his leg, obviously due to Joker having a prosthetic. The letter says, and I quote, "This face that I once loved so much gradually overlapped with that silent woodcutter's face behind the circus, and then I saw a hideous distortion I'd never seen before. Simple joys and pleasures are always short-lived." It seems as if there was no major reaction from her. You know, there was no falling down, there was no real fear, more of a realization. This makes it slightly confusing when referencing the original material, so I ask you be easy on me, because it can be quite contradictory sometimes. However, it must be said that this does put a more intimate relation between Joker and Margaretha. They weren't just co-workers, they knew each other to a degree and helped each other out, and Margaretha sees the man in the same light as Sergey. Is it the drugs that causes her fear of him, or the memories associated?
Are you alright, Natalie? Relax, Natalie. Sergey isn't here. Violetta was mistaken. She's just not very familiar with them both.
Yes, it's my fault. Sorry, it's my fault I misspoke. I won't say it again. Sorry, Natalie.
It seems I'm somewhat tired. I need to find something to eat in the kitchen. Then rest a bit.
Oh yes, it's lunchtime. Joker and I have prepared lunch in the kitchen. Let's go to the dining room.
That's right, Natalie, that's right. I've even made your favorite dish.
Sorry, Violetta. I'm just a bit out of sorts. Let's go have lunch. Then we can discuss the performance afterward.
That would be wonderful, Natalie. I mean, Margaretha.
Morrow once again acts quickly to absolve the situation by dispersing them for lunch, to which all of the cast agrees, only for the playbill to fall in front of the acrobat. Now, Mike is here to look for clues into his family's murder, so I'm not at all surprised he wanted to take a closer look at the paper. The way he squints and notices something, bringing it closer to the light, he's likely able to see some indents on the paper. There was something written on a sheet above it, perhaps, pressed deep into the paper, causing divots in the papers below, which is now our playbill. Scene 2. Shadows of Yesterday. 03. Compensation. A missing playbill earns Mike Morton his first reward. Now, we join the group having lunch in the dining room, Morrow carrying the conversation.
Those bears were not to be trifled with, but luckily, I had my companions. Speaking of which, I should head to the woods with my companions to find some food when the snow eases up a bit.
I can also help chop some firewood to keep us warm.
That's right, I almost forgot. Back in the day, you, me, and Mike helped Bernard fix his tent, and you were the only one who knew how to use that damn saw. Speaking of which, we might need to find some tools first. I had a look this morning. The trees in the forest are quite thick. Do you still remember how to use it, Joker?
Right. Since leaving Hullabaloo, I've been performing with wandering troops and doing the odd carpentry job to make ends meet.
Again, further cementing the fact that Joker was the only one able to use woodcutting equipment, and given that we've seen shavings on his clothes, as well as confirmation he's still doing part-time jobs as a carpenter, it's likely these skills haven't diminished.
Jolly good. And what about you, Natalie? What have you been up to lately? I just heard Violetta say you changed jobs.
Yes, I'm working with a theater troupe.
A new identity! Suitable for a fresh start, indeed. Just like what I'm about to embark on. What's wrong, Mike? You've been silent for a while now. Mike?
This is just awful. Has anyone seen that playbill? I think I've lost it. Oh. No! Thank goodness you found it! Oh, thank you, Mike. Where did you find it? Perhaps we can...
I found it in the living room just now. And I found more than just that. Huh?
Lizzie Borden took an axe. She gave her mother 40 whacks. When she'd seen what she had done, she gave her father 41. Lizzie Borden got away for her crime she did not pay. The tale of Lizzie Borden is wrapped in confusion and strife. On the 4th of August, 1892, a murderer took a hatchet and murdered a stepmother and father. I will not go into details here, as it's not really the place to do it. However, it does pertain some interesting information. Lizzie Borden was a key suspect in the case. It was stated that the police did not do a good enough investigation, be it checking for bloodstains on her clothes or even a proper search of her room, being criticized for their lack of diligence, just like the police in the Hullabaloo massacre. Residents suspected Lizzie of purchasing hydrochloric acid, albeit diluted, to poison her family, the same acid likely used by Acrobat and later on Joker's face. Finally, on the 20th of June, 1893, Lizzie Borden was acquitted of the murders. A random but fun little fact is that Lizzie had a friend staying around after the murders named Alice Russell, the first name of Alice DeRoss and the last name of the investigator brought on by acrobat Arthur Russell. Perhaps his alias here is a nod to that event. It would be nice. Those of you who know how this will end will likely see the parallels between this story and the one at the Hullabaloo Massacre. Mike focuses closely on Got Away, adding on his own thoughts that the area around Moonlit was cordoned off both by police and the large walls surrounding the area, and so Mike reveals this to the group.
What is this? Another nursery rhyme? I think I've heard it somewhere before.
Actually, it's an old nursery rhyme. The kind Sergei liked. But here, it must be a clue.
What kind of clue?
Who was it that killed everyone and then ran away?
What are you talking about, Mike? You're not going to start with that old spiel again, are you?
Quiet, you. Why are you here, Zell? What reward did the organizer promise you? Money? A leading role? You're not going to say we came here for a performance, are you? But my reward, I need an answer. The name of the person who destroyed our home. This clue tells us that the murderer who killed everyone is among those who got away.
Using a surprising amount of deductive reasoning, Mike believes that this poem is a clue left by the Baron about the Hullabaloo murders, that much like Lizzie, the murderer got away and didn't pay for their crimes. Clearly, the members who survived, the one who got away, despite the crime scene being cordoned off, are the most likely culprits. Mike is now sure one of the 5 people in this room is a murderer. He reveals that the truth behind his arrival at the manor was for this very reason, which, once again, angers the female dancer. Notice her wording her old spiel, still that same madman. This seems to hint at the fact that this isn't the first time that Mike has cornered her about the murders. Perhaps after the tragedy he was lost to grief and lashed out accusing the others.
And clearly, someone doesn't want us to know who it was.
You madman. Mike Morton, you're still that same madman.
Stop right there, Zell. Perhaps today, we should each give our own account of what really happened on that day.
I've already told the investigators everything I know.
The man in black who entered the tent? Is it even possible to fabricate a leakier lie than that?
So you suspect me, do you? Everyone knows I was preparing for the performance at the time. I couldn't possibly be the murderer. So I have no reason to lie to anyone, not even to you.
The man in black, the very same description that Violetta mentioned was being used in the performance around the massacre. It seems like Margaretha saw this cloaked figure entering the tent and then told police as much, who later leaked this information to the press. Hence the common knowledge, though Mike seems to not want to believe this side of the story, calling her plainly a liar, and this comes to a shock to the female dancer, who seems to attempt to put to rest their animosity for a moment to simply state, "I wouldn't lie about that, not even to you." That despite her hatred of him, she would never stoop to that level. Mike doesn't want to believe this, of course.
But you hated that place! You hated!
We all hated that place, Mike Morton. All of us but you!
Natalie!
Joker just straight up leaves here without giving his side, and honestly I bet it was sweating buckets back there.
And what did you think, Morel?
What, did I hate that place?
No, I mean this playbill. Hey, Violetta.
I don't know anything. I just want to perform with everyone. I don't know anything.
All right, Violetta, all right. Don't be afraid. I apologize for my rudeness earlier. But for us to give the best performance possible, could you answer a few questions for me? After all, you see, we can't perform an incomplete script.
Perform? Of course! We need to perform. What do you need to know, Mike?
Where did you first find this playbill?
I found it on the table by the keys.
Was this the only one?
Yes, it was in the middle of the table at that time.
When did you arrive?
Yesterday afternoon.
Were you the first to arrive?
I think so. First, it was me, then you, then Serg, Mr. Joker, then Margaretha.
I was last. I arrived at dawn. Only one key was left on the table then?
I thought you arrived before noon.
Oh no, I arrived at dawn. Then I went to tend to my companions.
Any more questions, Mike? If not, I'd like to go and prepare for the performance.
All right, Violetta, you go ahead. Perhaps we can start arranging the performance tomorrow.
Wonderful. Tomorrow, I can practice a little more on my own now.
Do you believe what she said, Moreau?
Of course, Mike. This is Violetta we're talking about.
If what she says is true, then it means we're without a single clue now.
Mike, have you stopped to wonder what Violetta's playbill means? If the missing one is the clue to the murderer?
Perhaps the murderer knows.
So what does this mean? We have two poems. One is our playbill and the other is an old nursery rhyme about a murderer who got away. The playbill is the story of 5 children who go into the circus only to be unable to ride, each one having a defined personality trait, but it ends with the 5th being left behind and 4 others going home. There is a second meaning that Acrobat keeps close to his chest. He knows the members that didn't survive the massacre. The only people that have that knowledge is Arthur Russell, himself, and of course, our killer. As we know from Acrobat's seduction letters, where it reveals his correspondence with the investigator, there is a key part of information that I too will keep closer to my chest until the final reveal. Only the murderer knows who escaped, and only the killer knows their roles in the playbill.
We will forget everything and gain new life. Who's there? Oh, sir, you're finally here. Are we going to rehearse now? Has everyone arrived? Very well, sir.
Scene 3. Biting Malice. 01. Crisis. The blizzard has arrived, bringing with it a chilling, murderous intent.
Joker! Where are you? Come down quickly!
Let's go.
Oh my god, what's going on? What happened to Violetta?
Mike, go and get more blankets. I don't know, Natalie. My companion found her in the woods of the West Wing. If my companion didn't keep her warm, she might have died from hypothermia.
This is something I got wrong in my original Hullabaloo video. Violetta did actually survive the first attack. We also see a very cute dynamic here between the brothers. Though Mike is normally the outspoken and dominant personality of the two, when it comes to serious situations pertaining to survival, such as in Violetta's case, hypothermia, he does defer to the knowledge that his brother has, instantly doing as he says, and I just think it shows how much he trusts his big brother. Now, after explaining that the 50 to 100 boars found Violetta outside and kept her safe from the worst of the hypothermia, we do get to take a closer look at her body.
evisceration where the prosthesis were severed. Skin turned purple. Drenched clothes. Her prosthesis!
Mike and I think they were sawed off.
Muro, get up here!
I'll see what he needs. Please look after her, Natalie.
I can also help chop some firewood to keep us warm.
You're the only one who knows how to use that damn saw.
Both visually and verbally, it is confirmed that the prosthesis were, quote, sawed off, end quote. And after Mora leaves, Margaretha connects the dots. The only person in the manor who knows how to use that damn saw. Scene 3, Biting Malice, O2. Mora decides to play the hero, defending the weak before greater misfortune strikes.
What's it?
Huh, this is...
I found this when I got up here. The door to my room was slightly ajar, but I distinctly remember it was closed when I left.
I think this is the first time we've seen this room. Ooh! We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here on the lore side of this fandom, aren't we? Anyway, Mike called Mora up, so let's go have a look. Part of me needs to mention that this isn't the first time this has happened. Circus Mike used to leave his cabinet containing dangerous chemicals unlocked to the point where Sergei knew he could use them for his revenge on Joker. Given that all the members have a key, there is no staff on site, so no reason to leave the doors unlocked, and Mike knows that one of them is a murderer, it's almost comical that his door was left unlocked. On the desk in the back we see Mike's juggling balls, and another object which I can only presume to be a knife. British moment. British moment. Now, the pile of woodworking equipment on the floor is slightly damp, probably from the melted snow, and it seems to have some metal shreds. Simply put, these were the tools used to saw off Violetta's prosthetics, leaving her stranded in the cold, now planted dead center of Acrobat's room.
Who do you think it was?
Oh, so it's in here. I've been looking all over for my saw. Mike, do you still need it?
Is this yours?
Yes,
What are you doing? Violetta is...
Oh, good morning, Natalie. I was looking for my saw. Turns out Mike has it.
You said something about Violetta. How is she?
She is awake.
The Scooby Gang run back downstairs, minus Joker, who I believe is struggling to get down said stairs, only to find Violetta, though now awake, completely out of it.
The fifth child. It must have been the son. Oh no. I forgot.
Violetta. Are you okay, Violetta?
Natalie! Natalie, we don't have much time. Let's begin our rehearsal now.
Violetta, what happened?
Mike. Oh, clever Mike. I will remember. So long as we are rehearsed.
Violetta, who did this to you? Do you remember?
Remember. I will remember. Just give me some time. And I
Calm down, Mike. Violetta needs to rest right now. Her hypothermia is too severe. I'll be here to take care of her. We'll talk when she wakes up and feels better, okay?
The restricted blood flow to the brain has likely caused this, as she can only think about the script. Mike attempts to gain some information about her attack, but she's too unwell to answer, and Morrow steps in at this point. Now, let's talk about hypothermia. Morrow says her hypothermia is severe. Hypothermia at a mild level is when your body temperature drops too low and thus attempts to compensate by doing anything to increase your internal temperatures. Shivering is a common side effect. As your muscles spasm, it produces heat. However, your blood vessels will also constrict to conserve whatever temperature it can, thus limiting blood flow to the brain, which can cause confusion and slurred speech. This is only at a mild level, and Violetta is said to be suffering from severe. The body stops shivering completely, as it fails to generate heat, meaning that it's no longer able to counteract the cold. Your temperature drops even quicker. Blood flow is extremely limited, leading to irregular heartbeats and unconsciousness as the brain struggles to receive the blood it needs to function. Those alone can lead to long-term effects. Any activity that harms the brain, such as falling unconscious, can lead to permanent cognitive decline. The lack of oxygen in the brain can cause cells to begin to die and eventually lead to death. At severe cases, people can experience inflamed skin, hallucinations, dilated pupils, and decreased reflexes, and something called paradoxical undressing. This is around 20 to 50% of all deaths. The person becomes so disorientated and confused, in some cases combative. In the confusion, they may even attempt to remove their own clothes, leading to further decline. To make a long story short, Violetta is not out of the woods yet and can very rapidly decline. Being out in the middle of nowhere with no way of getting her to a hospital means that Mora will have to keep a close eye on her, to which the others defer. The man has lived in harsher environments a lot of his life, and as such he knows what he's talking about here. A part of me wonders about this look. We know that Joker is the person who attacked her and plans to kill her, but isn't this smile interesting to note? He's in the persona of Smiling Clown, who can and will kill, but he's actively avoiding taking Violetta out personally. He has the tools, and most likely the physical means to do so, but is preferring to leave it to fate. I think there's more to this, and I'll get into it shortly.
Where is it? Where is it? Who is it? Who stole my performance?
Violetta? Violetta! Wake up!
Who is it? Who is it?
Violetta!
Moreau? Oh, it's Moreau. Oh.
Violetta, how are you feeling?
Okay. I'm okay. Oh no! My playbill! Playbill! Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness it's still here.
Violetta, why were you outside on such a cold day? And who?
I was rehearsing. I haven't performed in so long. Mister said...
Mister?
The Mister in black. Morrow, where are the others? I'm ready. We can begin rehearsals today. I'm ready and will not make mistakes again.
Sure, Violetta. Why don't you rest for a while? When the others are rehearsed and everything is ready, I will come and wake you up. Don't worry, Violetta.
Okay. I'm a bit tired. Need to rest.
The Mister in Black? The same description of the man from the performance in the Hullabaloo Massacre, and as such the same description of the murderer that Margaretha gave to the police when questioned. It's almost mocking in a sense, isn't it? It was truly a Mister in Black that day, and now to rub further salt into the wound when Mike knows one person here is truly a killer, he appears again in the same get-up targeting the survivors of Hullabaloo.
It seems that Violetta really wants to finish the performance. Perhaps I should help her fulfill this wish. For her, this winter is too long.
Muro, how is Violetta?
She woke up for a while, but now she's out again.
Did she say?
She wasn't fully conscious, and only mumbled something about a Mister in Black.
In black? Mister?
What's going on, Mike?
That night at Moon River, Zell also mentioned a person in black going into the large tent.
You think they're the same person?
Do you consider Zell an honest person, Muro?
But we all know, Mike, that she isn't a talented actor. At least not in the eyes of most people.
I was acting.
And she doesn't have a reason to lie.
Then how come she survived? That culprit did not let Violetta go, yet they let her go. Obviously, she knows more than she lets on.
That is suspicious. And it seems like the culprit didn't want Violetta to live, yet they also didn't want to be the one killing her.
Mike has a point here. If the murder is acting again, why not go after Margaretha as well? There is no reason as to why now twice she has been left unharmed. And of course we as the audience know why. As the killer is in love with her. Morrow also mentions what we've been saying here. Though leaving Violetta in the cold would lead to her death, the culprit didn't outright kill her, despite having done so before. Could it be some kind of remorse or hesitation or simply a game that he's playing?
Speaking of actors, Mike, have you thought about what would happen if the performance were to happen according to the host's plan? Perhaps we may find what we're looking for.
You mean finishing the performance? I need to think about it.
Okay. I'll also talk to Margaretha and Joker.
I'll check on Violetta. Muro, is it your wish to finish the performance?
I suppose.
Muro, they were actually wrong. You and Bernard are quite alike. At least the Bernard I remember.
The Bernard that Mike knows is a kind yet stern authority figure in his life, as far as we know. In short, he's simply telling Morrow that he sees the older man in the same light as he did his father. The preference at the end is also interesting. Both boys experienced a very different side to Bernard that we know. It seems that Mike was aware of Bernard's treatment of Morrow, given that he not only helped the man escape all those years ago, he also adds his correction in the first place, so Morrow doesn't take this compliment the wrong way. Scene 3. Biting Malice. 03. Conspiracy. Under the cloud of suspicion, everyone clings to their own version of the truth.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
Natalie, are you looking for me?
Natalie and Joker? I can't make out their conversation. I want to know what they're talking about, but it's best that they don't find out I'm eavesdropping.
That is right. They are indeed a threat. But it was not my fault, Joker. Please, why won't you believe that it was just a performance?
Don't forget, Natalie. It was also a performance that night.
But that turned into a disaster in the end.
But you're free now, are you not, Natalie?
That is temporary. Just until Sergei comes back. This is why I've come to this horrible place.
Natalie, listen to me.
Joker, both of us need to think about this. Okay. I will take it.
Have a good rest, Natalie.
Let's bullet point what's being said here. They are a threat. The performance wasn't her fault. The performance that night turned into a disaster, and her freedom is only temporary until Sergei comes back. Now, this is one of the sections where I'm a little stumped. You see, the first part of "you're right, they are a threat" makes sense. In the context of the story, we know that Margaretha is attempting to manipulate Joker, using the guise of friendliness to pit him against others rather than herself. Even the term threat would make no sense outside this context, as again, this is labelled as a performance, not a competition. There's no winner by these terms, just employment. Put it simply, in order to save her own skin, she's put others in the category of threat in Joker's mind, suspecting at this point that he's unstable enough to cause bodily harm onto another. Her guilt at this is even hinted in her birthday letters that I'll talk about later. The rest, however, is the confusing part. It was a disaster in the end, but it was also a disaster that night. You see, when I was first going through this, I put this into the event of Joker confronting Sergei for the first time, which led to Joker getting beaten by the man. But the inclusion of also leads me to believe that this is two separate events being talked about here. I'm gonna leave this up to you guys to decide, but my conclusion is there's once again information that we don't have. Natisse has made multiple changes to the story throughout the years, and especially now with Joker's 2025 letter, I wouldn't be surprised if there's something we're missing here, because there's no way Margaretha was involved with the massacre, given that she has no idea Sergei is dead, and as far as we can gather, he was the first to die that night. My theory? That there was a plan to leave during the night's performance. It's the only thing I can think of given the context of also that night, and that even though it was a disaster, it still led to her freedom, but feel free to comment on what you think this could mean. Scene 3. Biting Malice. 04. hesitation. Perhaps good and evil are not defined by our intentions, but by the choices we make. Now, the conversation ends here, and after hiding, we decide to ask them about joining in on the performance. Margaretha has prominent dark circles under her eyes. One of the side effects of Siren's song is insomnia, or perhaps a more restless sleep, and we do constantly see her drowning yet resurfacing to a man's voice in what seems to be a recurring nightmare. Could this be caused by the drug, leading to her declining health?
In her eyes. She looks exhausted. An odd scent that smells like trees roasting in the sun. An old music box. 3 bottles of perfume that look quite valuable. Her condition is pretty bad. She woke up and wished to finish the performance. I think if we tell her that we are willing to perform with her, she'll be happier.
I need to think about it, Moreau.
Okay, please come and find me downstairs once you have reached a conclusion. I hope it will not take too long. Joker, are you there? It's me, Murrow. I want to talk to you about Violetta and...
Merle? How is Violetta? Is she awake?
Yes. She wishes that we can finish the performance together.
The others... I mean, what did Natalie say?
She said she needed to think about it.
Okay, I will do it if she agrees to do it. And Mike as well. After all, we need 4 actors for the performance, do we not?
4 players are needed, huh, Joker? That slip-up, of course, wouldn't be caught by Morrow, but it's all we need. He knows the true meaning behind the poem. He knows that only 4 players are needed to continue to the second half of the game, much like in his original birthday letters.
Mike, you made dinner?
Oh, Moreau. Yes, Violetta hasn't woken up. I've made something to eat in case something worse happens.
I've wandered in the wild for a long time. That's why I know what hypothermia will do to the body.
Moreau, I will finish the performance, for Violetta's sake.
Oh, that's great, Mike! Violetta will be thrilled when she hears that!
What about Zell and Joker? How did your discussion with them go?
They said they needed to think about it, but I think they will agree to do it.
Moreau, do you believe that was just a performance?
I suppose.
Scene 3, Biting Malice. 05, the 5th child. The warm-up act should wrap up now.
That playbill. Think about what is written on it, Natalie. The performance has begun, but can only be finished when the conditions are fulfilled. 5 children. 4 seats. The first child. The second child.
You're saying that...
Calm down, Natalie. That is in the past. Just listen to me. The third child. the fourth child. The fifth child. That's the last condition to be fulfilled.
A flashback to Joker's room, and the confession we were waiting for. Earlier when Morrow asked Mike the simple question of what the playbill truly means, Mike replied the murderer knows. Joker knows the true reason behind the playbill, their roles in the game. The first child is Joker himself, the one who draws his weapon, the murderer and Violetta's attacker. Now, we have known that Joker's aware of the playbill's true intentions for a while, as this was actually previously mentioned in Smiling Clown's 2023 birthday letter, though worded differently at the time. I'm curious as to why Joker is aware of this. We've never actually seen Joker's or Morrow's invitation letter to the manor, and in truth we don't know if Joker has correspondence with the manor owner, as it's referenced in the same letter. A quote-unquote man. The Baron Master. Does he know about the circus? Does he know my crimes? Did he leave behind that strange nursery rhyme on purpose as well? Who is he? Who is this mysterious Baron? Then the last. Fifth child. The one called out by Acrobat at the very start and closing night was none other than Violetta. Those who make the most sound. They are too conspicuous for my plans. The perfect candidate is one who is easily overlooked, aka the one who is easy to take out without the others noticing. And we know that Joker has already jumped to the conclusion that it has to be murder. Anyone else, such as Mike or Morrow, would put up too much of a fight, and of course Margaretha is off the table. Poor Violetta.
Natalie? Are you still awake? It's me, Joker. I read your letter.
Damn it. That letter.
I apologize, Natalie. I should not have argued with you this afternoon. You're not looking well. Are you having trouble falling asleep again?
This place makes me nervous, Joker.
Perhaps I can keep you company. I mean, just like before, I'll sit here and wait for you to fall asleep. Then I'll leave. What is that?
This perfume has become very popular in town. Rumor has it that it has a calming effect, which is a luxury I can't normally afford.
What Margaretha says here concerns me a lot. Now, to be completely honest, I haven't done a lot of research into Vera Noir, but from a course of research, it seems like she was born and raised in France. Obviously, she had to have come to England to have participated in Game 5, and again, we know she died. Now, her perfume is said to have memory loss qualities already, due to her attempting to forget what she's done, no spoilers. But does it really fully explain the calming effect the perfume has, especially given the ingredients were becoming harder to source? Is it being locally distributed by the original sellers or Vera's surviving family, or is the Baron owner selling it, which brings a new meaning to its calming effect?
Since there are very few nice things around here.
There are even better things awaiting us, Natalie. Once things end here.
Joker, please believe me, just this once. Let us finish the performance, and then leave this place. I need you, Joker.
As you know, Natalie, I have always believed you.
Good night, Joker.
Good night, Natalie.
Now, a topic I kept seeing in the aftermath of closing night is that Margaretha was not manipulative towards Joker, and I believe these are arguments made in bad faith, by which I mean that in order to make Margaretha more of a victim of the story rather than an active participant, many decided to remove or blatantly ignore her actions here. Manipulation isn't always the aggressive, forceful acts of making someone do whatever you want. It can be subtle, such as placing yourself in a meek, submissive position to get someone to do what you don't want to do, which is exactly what Margaretha is doing here. She never corrects Joker that better things are waiting for us, even though she plans on taking the money to run. Clearly, without Joker being a part of this future she wishes for herself. She even explicitly leads him on with this idea. She paints the others as a threat to herself and the man, full well suspecting at this point he's unstable. I need you, Joker. Margaretha is very smart. I don't want to downplay her at all, which is why I believe she is in part aware of Joker's feelings towards her. Her choice of words, her actions, putting herself back into that vulnerable position in order to use Joker to keep herself safe from him as well as get the money in the end. Despite the fact that she is pitting him against other people which could lead to their bodily harm. You can see it here with her face. She knows what she's doing. She's not comfortable around him. There's no real trust. This is manipulation. Now, I'll be talking for a while after this, so let's watch this scene play out in its full.
Natalie, are you ready? Our final performance is about to begin.
Get away from me! You must! Congratulations, Violetta.
Everyone's waiting for you, Violetta.
I am so happy for you, Violetta.
Okay, that was a lot. There are many questions that I have to ask here, so let's start the breakdown. My mental breakdown, more like. First, we get a view of Margaretha's room with all the perfumes in place. We know this is her room because you can just about see the mahogany mirror on the desk. Now, acrobats. Do you guys see this too? Not only is the red juggling ball open with gunpowder already pouring out, but Acrobat is nowhere to be seen. He's certainly not in his bed. Plus, why would he be opening the red ball already at this point? Later we'll see him use this, but right now, at this time, what could he be possibly needing gunpowder for? Back in Margaretha's room, the camera pans up to the perfumes, but the scene is different. When we are first introduced to the perfume, his order is white, pink, and yellow. Yet here, it seems the white one is now missing and the yellow has replaced it. Under the missing perfume, we see the symbol of a circle with a central dot. Diagnosis. Memory loss. Using this information, we now have both siren songs and diagnosis, meaning that in all likelihood the first position on the shelf would be Orpheus, aka coma. This also means now we can ascertain which smell belongs to which drug perfume. Orpheus is Lily of the Valley. Siren song is trees roasting in the sun, and diagnosis is an unpleasant damp smell. Now, let's put this into the scene with the switch perfumes. If we take it into consideration that the white perfume would be the one to induce sleep to the victim, it would have the accompanying smell of a flower, and that is now missing. There's one more thing I want to note here. From this angle, the only viable information that this is Margaretha's room is the perfumes. There might be a slight breeze from somewhere, and given the curtain's movement, which would be a bad thing considering the weather outside, but I don't see a flower pot here at all. No petals, not even the rounded base. We can't even use the calendar as confirmation that this is Margaretha's room, as each room is more or less identical bar a few pieces of furniture being moved around. In previous scenes, we've seen the self-same calendar in the same position next to the desk in Acrobat's room, so for all we know, this might not be her room at all. Now hear me out. We know at this point Violetta is recovering from hypothermia. We even hear from Mora how bad it can truly be on a person, physically and mentally, so she's nowhere in the clear yet. And given what I've told you guys about the effects of hypothermia, we must keep the information of hallucinations and poor self-regulation in mind in this scene. Once again, Joker, donning the black cloak, approaches the door, where Morrow, being the old man he is, has fallen asleep, leaving Violetta defenseless. But look at the angle here. She's not looking at the man in black and willingly following him. No, she's looking at the perfume. It is clearly the white perfume too. There's no way for it to be the yellow one, as this would be a lot more brighter even in the dim light. She recognizes the perfume and chases after it, not Joker. Something that stumped me in my original Hullabaloo video was the sentence from Violetta's 2022 birthday letter, in which her experiment file written by the Baron, it wasn't the plan to use the medicine on number 801, and it didn't affect the subject's behaviour as we thought it would anyway. Therefore, we've allotted the serial number based on the results for now. Wasn't the plan? No effect? I beg to differ. Violetta didn't start hallucinating until she entered the greenhouse doorway. The cold. The perfume and its symbol doesn't match up to Siren's song either, so there's no way, shape or form she is following the drug out of bed due to being influenced by its hallucinogenic properties. She knew what it was and followed willingly. It wasn't the plan to use the medicine. Implies that at some point she has taken the drugs, but could this truly be the only instance? She dies immediately after, so there would be no real test. She does hallucinate, so if the drug was Siren's song here, that would mean that the drugs did have an effect on her in a noticeable way, and given of course they know when Margaretha is hallucinating, why wouldn't they say so? Joker makes no move to even spray here. And why wouldn't he if that was the plan? The perfume, at bare minimum, has been swapped with Orpheus, inducing a sleep-like state, which would explain why she collapses and subsequently dies in the greenhouse. But I don't think this is the case. Do you remember earlier when I asked about Violetta's room? We still never see it. The lack of identifiable information that the perfumes are Margaretha's, the switched positions of the perfume, this is Violetta's. Violetta recognizes the perfume bottle. She chases it. Orpheus just doesn't make sense to me. Violetta is naturally different from most others due to her upbringing. Not only do we see that, but we also know the Baron has a tendency to input his own feelings onto participants in the experiment files. This is not a complete scientific study. Participants, as far as we know, are being watched from a distance, and there's a personal ego in these files, so who's to say that the Baron isn't passing judgment? Who's to say that the Baron isn't wrong? Violetta forgets Margaretha's name. She forgot Joker. She's constantly rereading the script to the point of obsession, and she knows nothing about anything happening in the manor, but can perfectly recite rehearsals she's seen before. I believe that Violetta is aware of what the perfumes are, and has been accidentally taking diagnosis. She remembers the man in black attacked her, and she's been in the care of Mora's boars and then himself. She would have no time to take more of the drug, and thus now has remembered what happened, but due to the effects of hypothermia, it's unable to coherently convey who the man in black is to the cast. Joker then lures her out with the memory perfume, to which we once again hit a standstill. Are these hallucinations due to the effect of the drug or hypothermia? Let's watch the next cutscene. Scene 3, Biting Malice, 06, Prologue. Margaretha Zell finally receives notice for the performance to begin, but she is unsure if she should continue this time.
The snow finally stopped. It is time to end this. The corners of her mouth tilt upward,
as if she is happily asleep. There is no breathing. A familiar scent fills the air. The smell of trees roasting in the sun. Muro, how come Violetta...
I don't know. I passed out last night. When I woke up this morning, Violetta was gone. I looked for her everywhere and then...
Oh, you are all here. Violetta? What happened to her? Oh my...
Oh no! Poor Violetta. What a poor Violetta! The 5th child fainted! It must be the son!
The 5th child. That's the last condition to be fulfilled. Natalie, the warm-up act should wrap it up now.
What a poor Violetta!
Smell of trees roasting in the sun.
The final performance will take place at 9 p.m. in 3 days. Follow the light of the fire to the stage. Those who complete the performance before midnight will receive everything they desire.
It's my fault. I should have kept an eye on her. Hypothermia often leads to hallucinations. I should have kept an eye on her.
Muro.
For now, I will place Violetta in the basement by the forest. The low temperature there will help slow down the decomposition process. Once the snow melts, I will arrange for a proper burial.
Exit. Then going forward, are we continuing with this?
The perfumes, white, pink, and yellow. Once again, we see this in Margaretha's room, so once again, we know for a fact that the perfumes couldn't have been hers. Because honestly, why would Joker switch them around and put them back incorrectly? Plus, it's not the first time he's entered someone else's room. In the greenhouse, Muro is grief-stricken as Margaretha inspects the body. The body is damp. Could it be defrosting ice, or perhaps residue from the perfume? But here's the kicker. There's the scent of trees roasting in the sun. The scent of the pink bulb perfume, but it cannot be the case. Siren's song, The Hallucinogenic, is clearly labelled under the pink perfume. When Margaretha takes it, all other symptoms stop. She's not falling asleep, she's struggling to do so, and she certainly is not forgetting things. Plus, there is a completely separate symbol under the missing perfume, so each are clearly a different drug. Even if we give the benefit of the doubt and say it was a consistency error, that the perfume should have been the yellow or white one, this scent makes no sense. In every scenario, it'll either be Lily of the Valley or a damp, unpleasant smell. So where is this recognizable scent coming from? Look no further than the ball in Violetta's arms. Whenever we see this ball, it's under the foot of the frog statue with a full Hydra symbol decorating the front. Yet here it's placed conveniently on Violetta's body, easily found and clearly tampered with. You can't tell me that during her hallucination, in between her reaching for the sky, the fade to black, and then the collapse, she grabbed the ball, placed the letters inside, then locked the mechanism. Nor can you feasibly say that after Violetta's death, Joker returned upstairs to Margaretha's room, grabbed the pink perfume, went downstairs, sprayed it everywhere, set up the letters, went back upstairs, and then put the perfumes back in the correct order. My theory? The Baron was there last night. Joker once again left Violetta to crumble and die alone, not once spraying the dreaded perfume. As Violetta succumbed to the effects of unchecked hypothermia, she hallucinated, and not long after, her body collapsed. The Baron at this point had been watching, waiting for Joker to kill as he predicted he would to initiate the second half of the game. Taking the gold ball, he placed the letters inside. Sprayed with a familiar scent as Margaretha calls out later, locking the mechanism, he places it on Violetta's body, where it cannot be missed. A silent call-out to Joker for performing his part in this macabre play to his standards, confirming this was the correct choice. To summarise, this entire time, the drugs had worked on Violetta, as her memory began to fail. In all likelihood, the perfume gave her a glimpse of the higher life of a performer she so desperately wants. Due to the disadvantages of her birth and upbringing, the Baron takes the effect simply as just how she is in order to mock and belittle her, even in the experiment files. Joker attacked her at night, only to be saved by Mora's balls, by which time she had no chance to take any more of the drug, meaning she remembered her attacker. Joker at this point has realised that the perfumes Margaretha has are not just women's hygiene products, and searches Violetta's room to confirm his suspicions. Wanting to take the game to the next stage, to keep his beloved safe, bringing her the happiness that she wants, once again makes to murder the poor woman. Taking the perfume from her room where no one would see him, donning the black cloak he wore all those years ago, lured Violetta out of the room, bringing her to the greenhouse, by which point her prosthetic limbs began to fall apart and cease functioning due to their inability to withstand cold temperatures. In the sealed greenhouse there would be no boss to keep her warm this time. With no protection from the cold, her hypothermia accelerated, causing her to hallucinate and cease the ability to seek safety for herself. Joker watched until he was sure, and then left her once again. The Baron, who was watching, waited until she collapsed before preparing the letters inside the golden ball. We even see Joker act out the play as intended after the rest discover her body. The fifth child. It must have been the son, which Margaretha immediately clocks given her earlier conversations with Joker. This is the part of her earlier letters I mentioned beforehand. Her guilt. In her 2023 birthday letter, we see what looks like a diary entry discussing this event. She talks about how she's unable to trust Joker at all now, and she begs Violetta for forgiveness, stating, quote, "I've smelled that familiar scent coming from Violetta. I told him too much that day," end quote. And, quote, "Forgive me, Violetta. I'm not a bad person. I just want," end quote. Margaretha feels clear guilt over the death of the other woman, believing herself in some part to blame for her demise due to her correspondence with Joker. Whether or not she told Joker about the effects of the perfume, I'm not entirely sure. And though she still wants the money to leave, she hesitates.
Then going forward, are we continuing with this?
Scene 4, closing night. 01. Performance begins. A familiar stage, a familiar melody. Each puzzle hiding dark secrets. 27 pages later, and we're finally at Moonlit River Park, praying for my throat as it's already leaving me. We are in the final stretch. Entering Moonlit from what seems to be the first stop, we can see a playing card of Smiling Clown. This has actually always been in the game, but I never noticed it, so that's funny.
I should have known this is the place. Why don't we split up and check the place out? Hopefully the circuit box is still working. No one can perform in the dark.
Sure, I'll go with Natalie.
I'll head over to the roller coaster and check it out.
I will head over to the haunted house and check it out.
I should look for clues about the exit first. There is nothing meaningful here.
Natalie? What are you looking for? I remember there was a controller at the riverbank.
The riverbank. Perhaps the so-called exit does not refer to this place.
Once again, I tried to look around each section I was able to. I won't show much because I will be honest, there wasn't anything that I could find, new or hidden, away in some corner, and given how long it took me to do this, I'll save you the pain of watching. Though, of course, if you've noticed anything different hidden within the unique Moonlit River Park map, please comment down below. I'd love to hear about it. Now, there are a few newspaper articles here, stuck in the entranceway, all of which we have seen before, in the promotional material for the game and the map. Now, as for if they contain any interesting information, they really don't. It's a lot of gibberish, and what can be deciphered makes no sense in the timeline. I mean, for goodness sake, they are talking about the 2021 Snyder Cut of the 2017 Justice League. Even the second page, which is closer, is repeated gibberish, with the added bonus of Thatcher mentioned, which, given the history of Britain, I can only means Margaret Thatcher, who was Prime Minister from 1979 to 1990, which is still way after the expected timeline of Identity TV. Also, on a consistency note, Joker here is the wrong model. This is his in-game Weeping Clown model, which still has the half-covered sad clown face, unlike the smiling clown makeup he's been imitating the entirety of Closing Night. I'm guessing they didn't have a model available to be moved around and saved time by using the pre-existing asset with a simple following AI. The cipher machines that have been placed on the map have the serial number GW4682, which, according to a rather quick search, comes up with an old forum post for a knockoff brand of typewriters. Though, of course, this source cannot be verified, and I'm not 100% sure when it comes to typewriters. Clearly, the cipher machines are at least in part a typewriter, especially with the mechanics surrounding them, as we'll see in a moment. It would make a little bit of sense if the Baron was buying cheap knockoffs to supply the amount of machines needed, especially if these are truly unique to each participant.
This is...
A riddle?
This is a clue. That's not right. Still not right. What is going on?
I think it's Mike. He must have solved the riddle. It sounds like his story. He has always liked flames and stars since he was a child.
Joker points this out as Mike almost instantly. You have to remember that the two did technically grow up together, so this doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Mike is the prince of the circus, the beloved son of the circus master Bernard. Like Joker says, he loves stars and fireworks ever since childhood, but I wonder if there's not hidden context behind this verse. The fireworks being illusions may be hinting towards the circus being fake behind the scenes.
Then we should hurry. Is this Murrow?
Yes, I know it is. Murrow has always liked to act like a hero, hasn't he?
This is the part of Murrow mentioned earlier. His want for justice is cemented in his character. Outside the abusive thumb of Bernard, he finds himself in generous acts for others, in protecting those weaker than himself. But the verse itself is mocking this fact. In a sense, he doesn't have any renown. He's no knight at all, he's just playing pretend, like a child with a wooden toy.
Joker, what about you? You should have received your story as well, in addition to the invitation. This is... Joker, perhaps you should see how the two of them are doing. You were right, Joker. They are allies, and that poses a danger to us. You remember, right? Only those who complete the performance before midnight.
Okay then, Natalie. Call me if you run into trouble.
Again, we see Margaretha's manipulation at play here, and I must iterate, though this may not seem like the extreme version of manipulation so often seen throughout media, this can still cause physical harm. She took his story, further cementing his guilt that he's untrustworthy, of which you can see he's ashamed of it, turning his head away but puts his faith in believing that Margaretha wants them to be together, handing it to her with some hesitation. Her reply is to further iterate that the other two in their alliance are a danger to him, are a danger to them. Again, she is more than aware at this point that Joker had a part to play in Violetta's death, at bare minimum. Willingly, she sends him off with the idea that the other two may cause harm to her in some way, despite knowing that it could cause Joker to harm the other two cast members. Though I understand her desire to leave and put herself first, we can all agree that this level of emotional coercion towards Joker could lead him to cause bodily harm and even death. This shows the same selfish regard she's had since the beginning of her story, when she drugged her family to run away with Sergei. The benefits she will gain outweigh the consequences put upon others and herself, despite the guilt it clearly causes her. I believe this might be the first instance that we as the player have ever seen about how cipher machines work, actually in the canon universe, and I think it's pretty neat, even if I am kinda dumb. The princess of our story, Margaretha. I'll explain this verse more as we see her story unfold. Scene 4, closing night. O2, finale. The truth of that fateful night will be revealed after the final performance.
Natalie, you solved the riddle as well? That's awesome! Murrow said the rehearsal was about to begin. Mike asked if we could go to the Hullabaloo Theater. Mike? Murrow? Where are you? That's odd. They were just here.
Sergei's entrance music! It's him! He's here!
No, Natalie. It's not him. It's not him. Show yourself, Mike! I know it's you! This is not the time to mess around!
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the pillar of Hullabaloo Circus, the star in everyone's eyes, and the most popular smiling clown, Sergei!
Do not be afraid, Natalie. I found him. Hey, look, Natalie. I knew they were behind this. Those damn Morton brothers.
Sergei!
Let me see. Who is this? Oh, such a pretty lady. Beautiful Natasha. My dear, how are you? You have no idea how much I missed you.
Sergei...
No! That is not Sergei! That is not the real Sergei!
So you're here as well, Joker. You disgusting fraud. Do you think you can replace me by wearing my makeup? This joke is so much funnier than your horrible face.
Shut up! Shut up! You are the fraud! It's impossible for Starkey to be here!
Why is it impossible? I am the star of Hullabaloo, Natalie's favorite leading man! Unless I am dead, I will never be absent!
Shut up, you fraudster! Sergi is long dead! He died that day!
How are you so sure that Sergi is dead? Joker, I thought you said you never went back after that day!
I saw... No, I asked the police! That's right, I asked the police, they told me!
The truth is, due to a tiny mistake on the part of my friend, the police still think Sergi is alive to this day.
Joker, only one person knows the secret of Sergi's death.
Joker, you are the one who told me that everyone has a story. And this is your story, Joker.
Joker, do you get it now? I put this game together. And this is the reward from the game. Each person's secret is being a liar, a deserter, a murderer.
Shut up! Shut up, all of you. You have no idea. You have absolutely no idea! Especially you! You shiny and stupid dumb Mike Morden! Stop kidding around! You think Hullabaloo is such a good place? Have you seen the others? Moreau. Natalie! Oh, right. Violetta as well. And me. We all hate it here, except for you!
You're lying!
Oh, shut up! You have absolutely no idea! You have always shown bright and had so much fun on this stage! Of course you have no idea! And you... forever a liar! You were a liar in the past and you're one right now! Such awkward performance fools no one except me! Again and again! That is why we should all die! Die! Die!
Okay, that was a lot. As we have a decent amount to cover, with more on the way, let's get right to it. We know from the birthday letters and general information gleaned throughout closing night that Mike and Mora are working together. At this point, Mike knows it's none other than Joker, and I have reason to believe he's known for some time. You see, he had a key piece of information in his hand the entire time, one that even I refused to mention. One that links the clues left by the manor owner. The murderer knows the area was cordoned off. During his time before coming to the manor, as we have already discussed, he was in contact with an investigator named Arthur Russell. Mr. Russell managed to get an insider from the police station that handled the Hullabaloo crime scene to admit that the body they attributed to the Weeping Clown was in fact too physically fit to match the description of the clown from his previous hospitalization from the acid attack. Not only that, but in the most recent 2025 letter we got verbal confirmation from the graveyard worker that the body found was never truly lame, which means an impairment in the leg, which is an offensive term nowadays that can lead to physical disability. But in fact the leg was dismembered at the time of the massacre. I believe in some part that Acrobat didn't want to believe his family he had known since childhood would do such a thing, that in some part he was looking for someone else to blame. Perhaps the reason behind this change in the man, a woman who came in and ruined everything with her tricks, was the mastermind behind it all. In his 2021 birthday letter we see as such, he couldn't believe that Joker was alive. Now, as Sergei's entrance music plays, it tells the cast a key detail. Margaretha does not know he's dead. They stated themselves earlier that she is a bad actor. There's no way she would be able to fake the fear, the panic of her abuser coming back to her, and so the one who is trying to tell her he's not really here, the one telling her he's dead, is none other than the murderer, the only one who would know. As Mike reveals himself in costume pretending to be Sergei, we see lights in the background. The carousel has switched places, and I believe in this moment they are seeing the true object of their trauma, bringing them back into the true hullabaloo for a split moment. In those few seconds, they are in a tent as Sergei enters from the lively circus as the sound of his entrant music plays. Margaretha is understandably very shaken, but Joker takes the bait. He knows Sergei is dead, and in an attempt to make her feel better, lets out as such. Margaretha at this point is fully aware that Mike is not her husband, and she knows what this implies. Taking the letter, Joker's truth plays out for all to hear. Liars, deserters, and murderers. Mike has labelled each of the other members as such for clear reasons. Margaretha lies to herself and everyone around her that she's something better than she is, using those tricks to try and get ahead in life, despite the consequences it causes to those around her. Morrow is a deserter, as he left the circus and simply never returned to his brother. Never even stayed in contact as Mike desperately tried to find him after the massacre, with help of a private investigator, left alone to deal with the aftermath of his family's murder and subsequent funerals. Joker is the murderer behind the Hullabaloo massacre, and the man in black. Bound by the secret of blood he spilt, shackles of his own making, he alone brought the end to many lives. There is no turning back once the deed is done. At this time, pushed to his mental breaking point, once again Joker snaps. I have to give a massive kudos to the voice actors of Closing Night, but Joker's VA here is incredible, and his performance is truly amazing. Joker reveals the fact that was mainly unknown to Mike. No one liked the circus. They were abused, humiliated, and tossed around like toys for a man who couldn't care less about them. Mike, who had lived a good upbringing to this point, is shocked. Abuse is often done behind closed doors, and despite their closeness, in all likelihood he was unaware what was happening around him. He is stumped at this event, unable to speak despite being so assertive. And you even see the admission here from Joker.
You have absolutely no idea! You have always shown pride and had so much fun on this stage! Of course you had no idea!
Of course you had no idea. His father, the man who adopted him, was hurting his family behind his back. His family was rotten from the inside, and he had no idea. Joker then calls out to Margaretha. She was a liar then and a liar now, yet he trusted her. There are many instances we could attribute this to, such as the time where Joker confronted Sergei, yet she defended the man, leading to poor Joker getting beaten. And now this, manipulating him with the idea of reciprocation of his feelings, or at bare minimum that they would leave together, only to turn against him when his back's to the wall and confronted by others. She hides behind Acrobat to shield herself, once again picking Sergei rather than him. Sergei getting everything rather than him. And he snaps. Scene 4, Closing Night. 03, exit. Yesterday resurfaces. Can Margaretha Zell find her way out this time? Oh, I'm dumb as rocks, aren't I? Jesus Christ, dude. By the way, I'm a griffin.
Damn it. The door is locked. Not for Natalie, but an exit exclusive to Margaretha.
do.
Natalie! Come over here!
Get away from me!
Don't be stupid, Natalie. There is no outrunning me. Come over here! Natalie, what are you trying to do? Do you want to freeze to death as well? Come over here. I won't hurt you.
I will not hurt you.
I am not going back.
Natalie!
Margarita, what you became, Natalie? Leave with me a brand new name and beginning.
It's time to finally talk about the water sequences. In the sense, it's a constant ticking clock, the repeating cycle. Water has long since been used for symbolism of death, as has sleep, but Margarita's is an omen, I feel. Her home of Lakeside Village is the site of what is basically a cult. I don't want to get too deep into it in this video, as it's already long enough, but essentially most of their own are sacrificed to the waves to appease their god. Such a fate befell her aunt and uncle after she left. I wouldn't be surprised if this superstitious aspect of her past is haunting her here, calling her back with each and every dream. Don't forget that in the grand scheme of things, Lakeside isn't all that far from Olatus Manor. In fact, the very river Margarita jumps into is connected to the lake. It's a bit of both, I think. One hand of the clock, a ticking passage of time and the loop she ends up in, harming others to benefit herself in order to achieve the perceived status she so desperately wants. And despite wanting to break that cycle, in the end finds herself stuck in it once more, at the whim of a man calling her name to repeat it once again. On the other hand, the unpredictability of fate, of a power greater than her own, beckoning her back to her home. Stumbled upon an exit in time, forever entwined. Her exit from time was death, forever entwined with the fate of her people. Scene 4, closing night. 04, Hullabaloo. The final puzzle put an end to the past.
What do you think, Merle?
The river is flowing too fast. What are we gonna do about Joker? Hand him over to the police?
I need to think about it, Moro. But before that, we need to figure out how to get out of here. Perhaps we can look around for other cipher machines.
When I was at the merry-go-round, I saw a cipher machine that had not been decoded. There were words written on it as well, in various colors.
We have no more clues. Then again, we can check it out first. Chain, exit, name, stars. Red, pink, green, yellow. Moro, if the first 4 clues were about each of us, then can this be about all of us?
I have no idea, Mike. You know I'm not good at this.
About all of us. Hullabaloo.
gate is open, Mike.
Thank goodness, Moreau. We'll take Joker with us and get out of here first.
What's wrong, Mike?
It's nothing, Moreau. I'm still thinking about what we should do about Joker.
Mike is clearly not with it here. His entire life has been turned upside down as he comes to the realization that everything he knew was to the detriment of others, the people he too called family. They don't want revenge. Even the police seem like a bad idea, as we have to remember that in the UK, the death penalty was abolished for life imprisonment in 1965. Either we're in the time frame of Joker being hanged for his crimes, or never seeing the light of day again. Another family member lost. Despite this, they head to the final cipher. The code is simply what they are: Circus Hullabaloo. The final verse of Hullabaloo plays. I believe in this aspect the king can be one of two people. Either the real king of the circus, Bernard Morton Jr., or the Baron, the puppet master who orchestrated this macabre play. The verse is the difference between the two perspectives of Joker and Mike. One sees stars, the other sees flames. One hears laughter, the other crying. It reiterates what Acrobat now knows, that he never saw the true Hullabaloo. That Hullabaloo itself, his family and his home, is, quote, no better than stinking sewer. Scene 4, closing night, 05, the path ahead. Perhaps when he took that first step, Joker already knew he was on the path of no return.
Huh? Where is he? Did he get away?
Uneven cuts, as if broken by a blunt instrument. Some blood stains. A crinkled note. A cracked splinter of a music box.
Huh? Can it be?
I don't think so, Moreau. Anyway, let's get out of here first.
Joker is long gone by the time they return, cut through the rope bindings with a blunt, broken piece of Margaretha's music box, even managing to cut himself in the process. Alone on a seat is a piece of paper that reads, "A twisted man on a twisted path. There was a crooked man, and he walked a crooked mile." This is a English nursery rhyme. There is a few meanings, but the term crooked could be read in both the literal and metaphorical sense. A person born with a physical disability, or a person who performs criminal acts. I think in the sense of this story, it speaks very bluntly. Joker was born crooked, disabled at birth, and due to this was destined almost to be a crooked person. A twisted man on a twisted path. No other way to go. It's believed that in his anguish, in these final moments, he joins his beloved in the frigid waters. Scene 4, closing night, 06, curtain call. As the curtain call comes, some choose to remain on stage forever. For the final time, I will allow the scene ahead to play in its entirety, and give my thoughts afterwards.
What if you go first? I want to stay for a while longer.
Okay, Mike. Try not to think about what Joker said. That wasn't your fault.
But do you think he was right, Moreau? All of you hated it here, except for me. Enough, Moreau. Go and look for your companion. They should be waiting for you anxiously at the door. See you later. He belongs with those animals.
No! I beg of you, Sergei!
Huh? Is this the hullabaloo after the curtain call? Hey, partner. Go find Mike and see if he's okay, will ya? But don't disturb him, okay? Huh? What is that?
Mike gets the confirmation he needs with Morrow's lack of reply here. Despite his best efforts, Morrow's words will have no effect. Joker's words burned deep into the young man's soul, and it shattered him. His entire life seen in a new light as he explores the once bright circus, seeing the new pain, the humiliation, the abuse that his family and friends had suffered. He carried the memories of Hullabaloo on his back since everyone's death. His life, all his savings, spent to bury them, then find the killer, but now he's left with nothing but the falsehoods of it all. Mike scattered the gunpowder he kept in the red juggling balls across the park. His final performance. Bernard never let him do it due to safety, but now there was no one to stop him from seeking this closure. I believe that Mike knew this was coming to a degree. Throughout closing night, we've seen multiple instances of him not being where he was supposed to be, despite being one of the two protagonists. We truly don't know what he was doing half the time. At some point, he wrote to Arthur Russell, telling him to stop searching for Morrow under the guise that the man was already dead, hopefully keeping him from the stain of this family. In another letter, he wrote the truth to Morrow. Quote, "Just wait and see. You'll understand my decision. My only regret is that I could not travel the great outdoors with you. You'll have to enjoy the freedom and joys on your own. I've never touched the money you gave me." The last line is a reference to the payment that Morrow gave him for helping him escape the circus all those years ago. Quote, "I even added a little more to the pool. I hope you'll take it and move on. Don't miss me." Mike turned his back on the circus, tears threatening to break the performer's smile he was trained to wear since child. He turned his back on the memories, embracing the darkness in front of him, deciding to end it all with him. Within the fire, we see Hunter Hullabaloo, Joker's words etched deep into his shattered heart. "You stupid, shining doll." Scene 4, closing night, 07, epilogue. Before the final performance and behind the scenes. I'll talk over this one, as there's no dialogue to be heard. These scenes are before the cast of Hullabaloo arrive at the manor. First being Joker's with his tools and daisies and Margaretha's music box, which he fixed for her. The second being Mike with his juggling balls and the shattered globe of Hullabaloo. We see Margaretha's room with the perfumes and mahogany mirror, Morrow's with his companion's tasty treat, and all of which having an empty book for the mandatory diary entries that all participants in the game must fill out. The scene shows the Baron placing the lyrics to Hullabaloo inside the gramophone before writing the start of the Lizzie Borden poem on top of a stack of papers, pressing the words into the pages below, leaving the clue that Mike Morton will later find. Every aspect of the game was meticulously researched, planned, and executed by a person whose cruelty cannot be understated. Baron de Ross. So that, my friends, was my deep dive into closing night. I'm actually currently re-recording this last part. Wasn't really happy with how I ended it in my original recording, but I don't really blame myself 100%. I was fighting my dog on my lap the entire time, and also reading 38 pages out loud all in one take is... yeah, it's not good on your throat, don't do it. First of all, editing Callie, how we doing? No, I'm sure we're doing great. First things first, this isn't the end of my theories. I have so many more. My chat are completely aware of this over on my Twitch, as I have my favourite one currently, which is the Orpheus in the Walls theory. How he is fully aware of what's happening during closing night is a mystery to many people. Again, no staff on site, he's not there, yet he completely recounts what's happening within the actual experiment files of the participants. Shouldn't be away, so I generally think he's in the walls, but something to maybe consider making a video about at some point. But I'm not entirely sure if I will. Here's the thing, I won't lie, I haven't played IDV in a while. I've had a lot of bad experiences with the community, and it's very toxic, I'm sure we can all agree. But I made a promise to my Twitch chat that I would get this out, as many people came into my Twitch streams just for my lore theories to begin with, and I'm not one to go back on my promises, so here you go. This is for you guys. Speaking of the community, the biggest thing that I fear with releasing this video is backlash because I didn't baby the characters enough. I don't believe that it's a good idea to personify characters too much. I refuse to give them diagnoses throughout this, entire video because of that reason. They are not people. At the end of the day, characters in a story like this are tools to, portray the narrative. They're not real, they're prone to being written weird, which is certainly the case in Hullabaloo, and in fact most of Identity V. Hullabaloo itself encompasses that rule that they are tools to be used to tell a story, and the story is a cycle, in my opinion. It's a cycle of abuse, of people who have been abused, abusing in turn, of the lack of empathy that they have for each other and, those around them. That's generally how I see Closing Night, that none of these characters are truly innocent, and nor are they truly evil. It's exactly what one of the opening scenes actually says, that good and bad aren't defined by intentions, they're defined by actions. Joker does bad things even with a good intention. Margaretha does bad things, even with a good intention. So does Violetta, by accident, sure, but still does bad things by a good intention. Mike does bad things by a good intention. They all do. They all do. And that's what I like about it. But sometimes I feel as if in this community, if you dare say anything bad about anyone, it's on sight. And so part of me fears it. But at the same time, I feel as if we don't talk about these things, the story, and we just continuously put our own feelings onto things, we lose what the creators were originally intended to tell. So yeah, did this for you guys, chat. I hope you like it. Now, I'm sure you guys can notice, but this has taken hours of work. The original script actually started shortly after Closing Night actually got released over a year ago, and I am terrible at, it was too much. Honestly, this whole thing has been a little too much for me. I'm a one-man band and I have streams and my own stuff that I do, so a bit too much. But I have to talk about this. The amount of changes and inconsistencies within even the story of the Hullabaloo Circus to begin with is mind-numbing. Going through frame by frame has probably been the worst experience for the actual enjoyment of the story, because you start to realise how much is changed, or how much is so different from what it should be, or how it was originally told. At bare minimum, how much is wrong with the actual animation? in Closing Night, one of the biggest instances for at least the letter changes is, of course, Margaretha's relationship with Joker. Again, they didn't really have one in the original letters. He was just the silent woodcutter. And now, as of 2025, it's, oh, suddenly, he actually wasn't born with a bad leg. No, it was removed surgically. And now, Margaretha and Sergei paid for it. Like, what? Where would that ever have occurred? It was never even mentioned. His leg being injured was mentioned by the accessory, but how is it fair to go through 5 years worth of work to have things change? It's not fair at all. And not only just the letter inconsistencies, but there were so many animation issues with Closing Night. I'm not talking just frames where Margaretha had her wig snatched. I'm sorry. But the entire time where I was talking about the theory that Violetta had been taking the drugs, was aware of what the perfumes were, it's all a lie. It's a theory that I put in place because I was generally confused. Because the perfumes do switch positions constantly. There is a very blatant consistency error with them. Even in this scene here, you can see them change in 2 seconds. And how is that fair? You know, you think you're finally figuring something out, something that was hidden, and then it turns out it was just an error in the first place. It kind of sucks, to be honest, but which kind of brings me on to the topic of the story in Identity V in general. Identity V has the worst storytelling I have ever seen. FromSoft games do a better job at storytelling than Identity V does, and that is because it is, at the end of the day, a gacha first. And I understand that, but it sucks, because they can generally tell good stories when they want to. If you look at Closing Night as just what it is, it's a really good story. I loved it, and a lot of people did, and I hope that throughout this, and because of Ashes of Memory, they will continue to do good stories. Because the way they tell stories is... it's so unfair on new players coming in. Imagine you play any game and you have to go through 5 years worth of character stories, intertwining with each other, with over, 30, how many survivors is there, like 30? 30 plus? There's so many. And you have to go through each and one of them because they might just reference each other. And then sometimes characters just aren't referenced at all, they're just added randomly. And not only do you have to go through that, poor translation is rampant. You can really see it in Mura's deductions, for example. Letters once a year, even after the story has concluded. Deductions that only give you a mere sentence, and the hope that maybe once a year you might be getting a fully animated cutscene. It's not fair. And it's been that way for a while. The original detective storyline took 3 years to conclude. And then when you go on to Ashes of Memory, it's almost repeating a lot of the same bullet points. Is that on purpose? Is that intentional? Or is it for another reason? Is it just repurposed material? I don't know. I don't know. But I can complain. But I'm sure we can all agree that Closing Night was amazing, and it has hyped up for Cage of Yesteryear, coming out in only a few days, which I will be playing on Twitch and here on YouTube. I'm going to be covering it day one if I can. We're going to be going through all the pre-release material, such as the trailers that they have released, and then we will be playing through the entirety of it. I'm probably going to be split up into 2 parts again, knowing my luck, but we will be playing it. I'm very much looking forward to it, and despite my grievances, I'm glad to love the lore of this game as much as I do. It really is the only thing that keeps me going with IDV, with everything that I've been through this year with this damn game. So, I hope you all have enjoyed. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.